Good afternoon, keluarga Malaysia. I'm Berita RTM and welcome to Updates at Noon. Our top stories: government probing into entire poultry supply chain. Disgraced Goldman banker found guilty for looting Malaysia's state fund. As tempers flare over the soaring price of chicken nationwide this Ramadan, raiding teams from the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry are finding traders previously eager to shift the blame on wholesalers and suppliers mum on the source of their supplies. Deputy Minister Datuk Rosol Wahid said the traders compounded for inflating the price of the birds, claimed that revealing the identity of the suppliers would mean the end of their supplies. Due to this, he said, only 4 poultry farms and 13 wholesalers have been booked for selling chicken above the ceiling price, while 25 retailers were compounded for the same offence. Datuk Rosol, however, said that the traders were booked anyway, as some of them had allegedly displayed one price and charged customers another price.
Harga yang dicatat di meja ataupun tag harga sebut RM8.90. Tapi bila dia timbang, dia tak jual harga RM9. Dia jual dengan RM9.20, RM9.30. Maknanya secara tak langsung dia cuba mengelirukan pengguna. Maknanya itu satu kesalahan. Yang kedua, kita bila ditanya di mana mereka dapat bekal ini, mereka tak beritahu. Cuma mereka kata mereka dapat harganya dah RM8.70.
Datuk Rosol said, as such, the government was looking at the entire supply chain now to ensure there is no cheating, exploitation and leakages, because the entire supply chain was supported by subsidies. On another matter, Datuk Rosol said KPDNHEP is looking into ways to improve the Supply Control Act 1961 in a move to plug loopholes in the sales of subsidised RON95 petrol to foreign registered vehicles. According to the Deputy Minister, the move was to tighten enforcement, including a proposal to impose action on the individuals involved.
Kita sedang mengkaji dan sedang bermesyuarat kemarin urusan tertinggi untuk nak memantapkan lagi Akta Kawalan Bekalan AKB ini untuk pastikan bahawa mereka terlibat ni tak kira sama ada mereka ni penjual atau pembeli, mungkin akan dikenakan tindakan. Setakat ini memang kita akui yang penjual saja dikenakan tindakan dan mereka juga ada dia punya radius dia.
He said this when met by reporters before the launch of a program organised by the Companies Commission of Malaysia (SSM) at the Ramadan Bazaar TLK site in Taman Tasik Permaisuri Trust yesterday. Meanwhile, in conjunction with SSM's anniversary, a discount of up to 90% has been given to companies that were compounded, and this initiative ends on 30th June. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) has created the Mercu Economy Digital (MEDI) in an effort to encourage more entrepreneurs to venture into fields related to the digital economy on a large scale. Communications and Multimedia Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa said this initiative was done to enable more entrepreneurs, especially the younger ones, to expand their businesses digitally so as to display their products more effectively and competitively. Speaking to reporters after attending a breaking of fast ceremony with KCOM agencies and Kelantan Keluarga Malaysia community in Kota Baru last night, he said MEDI is focused on efforts to give more emphasis on entrepreneurs in digital economy-based businesses in terms of product marketing, such as branding and packaging.
Kita tidak nak buat benda yang kalau dulu perlukan tanah, bangunan besar-besar, tak perlu. Boleh juga dibuat dalam bentuk kabin. Yang pentingnya praktikal dan viable. Tempat itu pada masa yang sama memberi peluang kepada usahawan-usahawan muda, usahawan tempatan menjalankan bisnes yang berasaskan kepada ekonomi digital.
Elaborating further, Tan Sri Anwar said the allocation to develop the MEDI was estimated at RM3 million for each state and it is expected to be implemented as soon as possible. The police have assured that the search and rescue SAR operation to locate 2 victims who were trapped under the debris of a limestone quarry landslide at Keramat Pulai, Jalan Simpang Pulai, Cameron Highlands will continue. Perak Police Chief Datuk Mio Farid Al-Atrash Wahid said the operation, which entered its 32nd day today, was still being carried out by the rescue team, including the quarry operator.
Setakat ni kita belum buat sebarang keputusan lagi, walaupun operasi dah masuk hari ke-31 kan. Pelbagai usaha telah dibuat oleh semua agensi, termasuk pengusaha kuari ni. Pengusaha kuari pun beri kerjasama kepada kita dalam usaha kita untuk mengesan 2 mangsa yang terlibat dalam kejadian ini. Begitu juga dengan jentera yang digunakan dalam tu.
Dato' Mio said any decision on whether to continue or stop the operation would only be made after all agencies agreed to it. 2 men were reportedly buried under the debris of the landslide, which took place at about 9:30 a.m. on 8th March. The trapped victims have been identified as Itam Balasoh, 43, and Kyo Lu Siu Sun, 49. On 21st March, rescuers identified a spot at the quarry where they believed the 2 victims were buried underneath debris. The quarry company has suggested drilling at the spot, which is 10.9 meters deep, using a driller machine. Disgraced Goldman Sachs banker Roger Ng was convicted by a US jury today of conspiring to violate an anti-corruption law to help loot hundreds of millions of dollars from Malaysia's 1MDB development fund. Prosecutors say Roger Ng, Goldman's former top investment banker for Malaysia, helped his former boss, Tim Lasner, embezzle money from the fund, which was founded to pursue development projects in the Southeast Asian country, launder the proceeds and bribe officials to win business for Goldman. Ng, 49, had pleaded not guilty to conspiring to launder money and violating an anti-corruption law. The jury convicted Ng of 2 counts of conspiracy to violate the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. Deliberations began on Tuesday after a nearly 2-month trial in federal court in Brooklyn. The charges stemmed from one of the biggest financial scandals in history. Prosecutors have said Goldman helped 1MDB raise $6.5 billion or about 27.4 billion ringgit through 3 bond sales, but that $4.5 billion was diverted to government officials, bankers and their associates through bribes and kickbacks between 2009 and 2015. Ng is the first and likely only person to face trial in the United States over the scheme. Goldman in 2020 paid a nearly $3 billion fine and its Malaysian unit agreed to plead guilty. Meanwhile, Jolo, a Malaysian financier and suspected mastermind of the scheme, was indicted alongside Ng in 2018 but remains at large. The government at Pakatan Harapan has pledged their support for a federal constitution amendment bill, which is scheduled for tabling in a special Dewan Rakyat sitting on Monday to facilitate the formulation of the Anti-Party Hopping Act. Other matters that were agreed upon by Joint Steering Committee on Transformation and Political Stability include to support the amendments to the Federal Constitution involving the enabling clause under Article 10 to pave the way for the enactment of a new law prohibiting MPs from switching parties. According to Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Parliament and Law, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, the preliminary draft will be distributed to the Steering Committee to go through before the special Parliament sitting on 11th April. He added that both sides have agreed to a new date to be announced by the Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Semasa in line with Dewan Rakyat's Standing Order 11 subsection 3. Meanwhile, the PH Presidential Council in a statement yesterday, however, said its main condition for support is that the draft of the anti-party hopping bill should be expedited. National martial arts exponents have been advised not to be too concerned with the possibility of biased judging during next month's Hanoi SEA Games in Vietnam. Instead, Chef de Mission Dato' Nur Azmi Ahmad said they should focus on perfecting their techniques so as to be able to score points in their sports where judging is very subjective. He said that if the exponents were to focus on improving their techniques, then they will be able to cast aside the nightmarish scenario of biased judging by the umpires or judges.
So the important is the athlete. Kalau athlete fokus kepada technical ataupun referee, dia tak dapat concentrate apa yang datang melalui diri dia. Pasal combat sport ni dia very fast. If you alert, you boleh ni. Tapi insyaAllah, saya ada tim yang bagus untuk termasuk teknikal-teknikal daripada persatuan-persatuan yang bertanding nanti. I think we work hard lah. Kita fight macam mana kita nak pergi. Kita kena fight. Fight ni very important. If you go to, orang kata pergi war, tak pergi fight, ni lah, kita akan fight. First I will fight the target yang kerajaan minta. Then after that I will fight how the target that kita nak.
Karate, Taekwondo and Silat are some of the martial arts sports that will be contested at the Hanoi SEA Games from 12 until 23rd May. National mixed doubles pair Tan Kian Meng Lai Beijing made sure Malaysia did not suffer a total meltdown in the quarter-finals of the Korea Open Badminton Championships 2022 when they stormed into the last four yesterday. The second-seeded Kian Meng Beijing down fifth seeds Wu Xuanyi, Huang Yaqiong of China 21-18, 21-17 at the Palma Stadium Suncheon to set up a semi-final date against six seeds Rinov Rivaldi, Pita Haningtyas Mentari of Indonesia. The Indonesians had eliminated Japan's Hiroki Midorikawa Natsu Saito 15-21, 21-18, 21-16 in the quarter-final clash. However, it was the end of the road for the other Malaysians who have made the quarter-finals in their respective events. Malaysia's other mixed doubles representatives Ong Yu Sin, Goh Liu Ying put up a stiffer resistance before being sent packing 14-21, 23-21, 16-21 by South Koreans Kim Won-ho, Jong Na-eun. There was no joy for 2021 World Championships men's doubles bronze medalist Ong Yu Sin Teo Yi, either as Malaysian went down fighting 19-21, 20-22 to Indonesia's Fajar Alfian Muhammad Rian Ardianto. National men's single rising star Ng Si-yong was also surprise casualty when he lost 11-21, 12-21 to Weng Hongyang of China. National professional women's single ace Goh Jin-wei, featuring in her first tournament since last June, fell 15-21, 18-21 to South Korea Kim Ga-eun. That concludes today's updates at noon. A reminder of our top story, government probing into entire poultry supply chain. Tune in to news at 10, coming up at 10 p.m. on RTM News Channel. I'm Shuaida Arifin. Thank you for your company and have a pleasant weekend.